Anytime you share life stories with other people, you know you are indeed acknowledging their humanity and kind of accessing some things about yourself. And other people start to expect things about themselves. It's kind of a, let's say, fellowship that attains to the beauty of life called life with a story. With the thought, let's jump into what we are here for. Ladies and gentlemen, and each one of you out there. My name is Mithun Upadhyay, and I'm delighted to welcome you. Welcome once again at the Economic Times, Cutting Chai Stories brought to you by ET Edge for endless stories of life. So, who's our guest today? Well, somebody who loves tea to start with. And I think having him on the Cutting Chai makes it like he's a new brand ambassador of Cutting Chai overall. Well, our guest today is very good people manager and gets along with people very well. And I did see that a bit at the tech check. Well, even though he's very, very versed with technology, he does not miss an opportunity to learn more about the newer technologies. Always a seeker. As a client, he gets deeply involved in the project and is very helpful while ensuring that the project remains on track. He's a professional, friendly, and great person to work with, and I wish him that he gets the best when he's at the Cutting Chai Stories. Please welcome the VP IT CDSL, Mr. Jitendra Panchal, here at Cutting Chai Stories. Mr. Jitendra, first thing first, let's have a cheers with chai. Imagination.
Chai, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Well,
Okay.
it's so good, to start with, you love tea. In general, you're a tea lover, and having you part of the Cutting Chai just makes it so easy for us to, dwell into a conversation. So, without wasting much time, I want to breeze back to life and breeze back to understanding about your early days and how was it back in when you were a child, and where were you born, and how was your childhood days, how was school days? If you could please give us about your early life.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thanks for the invitation. I would sort of have a discussion with you people. As far as I would say my childhood, or I would say born and brought up in Bombay. So I'm total proper Bombayites, and like my schooling and everything that I've finished in my town side, that is a proper fort area. So it's a real, I would say, we can call it as like a real monuments of our actual Mumbai, Maharashtra, that we can call it like. So I born and brought up in Mumbai. Then I completed my, I would say, graduation. I would complete my diploma. Then I completed my graduation from Somaya College of Engineering. I've joined, I would say, Patni, my first career job that I've started. So, and then I would say, like, step by step, start learning the things, getting into the IT industries and like knowing the things better. So like my journey started, professional career started somewhere in the year 1995.
Oh, wow.
And so it's almost now, I would say, more than, I would say, 25 years. So a little old now, 25 years of experience. But it's, yes, I can count it like an experience matters a lot, or I would say the knowledge sharing, or I would say the helping that you give it back to the society, like so-called like great, I would say, people I admire, like Dr. Abdul Kalam, or maybe Dr. I would say like Sir Ratan Tata. So based on that, I would say they are my idols, or they are my, I would say, like mentor in terms that I can say for. So like, of course, this is what my starting of my, I would say, education in my career into industry.
It's so good to hear the two names you mentioned, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and of course you mentioned Ratan Tata.
Ratan Tata.
That talks about the connection, that talks about the gratitude, that talks about the belief of the person you are, as to follow and keep these two gentlemen as the role model, or so I say legends to keep a role model. So as I want to talk about as much about what you're doing currently and how the 25 years plus has been your professional career, I still want to know about your childhood. Were you the only sibling, or you have more siblings? And back in the school, how were you as a student? Were you like this naughty, nostalgic kid, or were you like the very calm, seeker, silent person? How were you like?
Okay, so in that way, I'm very, very sincere and honest that I'll say I have one brother. I have one brother and sister. And of course,
Definitely.
like very much sincere in terms of, I would say, studying, and I would say the kind, see the kind of an, I would say, little something on the family background, the kind of a family background that we are having. So
True.
it was something like I got an early sense of responsibility in
Wow.
terms of, I would say, understanding the family, the understanding of the, I would say, the life requirement, or maybe the family requirement kind of a thing. So somewhere like maybe a sincerity you call, or maybe the seriousness in the life you call, like it is something that I got early in that particular stage. So like I was very, very studious, or I would say sincere about my studies and other thing. Life is very focused, like what exactly needs to be done and how that needs to be done, and what is the way that I can, I should not burden my family members also, and I should get my things done, and like keep my, I would say, whatever maybe the dreams that my father has seen, or I would say like my family members looking into it, like I need to go for it. So yes, in fact, I can tell you one of the good example. In fact,
Yeah.
I got admission into medical, but that
Wow.
was in, the remote area, Nagpur side, something on that
Okay.
side. But because of, I would say, like hostel accommodation, then financial crisis and other things. So like me and my father decided, I'm not going to go for a medical, because a lot of expenses during that particular time,
True. True.
So then my father told me, then nothing doing. You will be going to go for an engineering. The second most, I would say, that we can think about, like so. So
Right.
then I selected for the engineering, and of course it's really good. Like it's into engineering. More still, I'm still a medical student. I'm still into that, and of course I can say my daughter, if I'm not able to get into the medical, my daughter is in medical right now. So that
So
is how like
wonderful.
that is how like things change, and like one cannot fulfill the dreams, but yes, that ensures like others can, I would say, fulfill the dreams or something.
I just love how motivating this one thought of yours is that you had a head over your shoulder when you were really young, and then going ahead to study medical, which was your first love, and you could not afford for the reason because you could not afford it. But look at the virtue of life, or rather, should I say, what goes around comes around in a happy way. That you could not do it. You took up engineering, but your first love still remains to be medical, and your first love continued in terms of making sure your daughter is in medical right
Exactly.
now, and that
Right.
is a that's a very good story that should motivate most of us who is watching us right now. So let's just get into something more interesting, okay? You spoke about childhood days, and you had head over your shoulder. Let me ask you about this one question: who was that one person who you always like to be mentored by, and you always followed he or she said something and always went about to improve yourself at early child?
Okay. My father, I would say, like he is my, see, parents is basically the first teacher of your life,
Right,
and
absolutely.
they are going to be lifelong their teacher, because
Right.
based on their experience, their, I would say, lifestyle and other things, they'll ensure like whatever education they can impart to the, I would say, their kids, that really helps them to, I would say, bring, I would say, make them strong enough to take this forward, or to, I would say, to take this life ahead. So I can say like my father is, I would say, like my mentor, and like whenever I faced any particular challenge, or any of the discussion that I used to happen, that I used to have with him only. After that, now the second one that I can think about, what I could say, rather it's my I would say, like my safest ear kind of a thing, something like I can share with, is my daughter. I can
Oh,
share anything with them. So because see, being, I would say, so young, but I would say it's a different mindset, different, I would say, kind of a thinking. So somewhere, if I may have to think about, or I may have to discuss something on it, yes, I can freely ask her, and like I can talk to her. Or, of course, she may not be able to give me the solution, but somewhere I get a kind of a relaxation, something on that. Of course, in the peer industry, if you ask me, like there are, I would say, like very, very good bosses that are, luckily I can say, there are very, very good bosses that I had in my life, and who really, really helped me, who I would say guided me and taught me in a different way, very, very particular. See, in an entire book, if a single line is sufficient enough to change the life. So
true.
the similar way, there are people comes in your life, but I would say one particular statement, or maybe a one particular gesture, or maybe one kind of an help, that will really change your life. And if people picks up that particular thing, then definitely it will help to improve one individual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree with it. It's a matter of your self presence and your awareness that you can fetch from and seek much more. I spoke about this earlier about you. You're a seeker, so you can just make sure you learn from anything and everything which
Right.
passes by. So
Right. Right.
that talks about, you have been a leader and you have been dwelling into this position for a long time right now. So if you had to give an advice to people who are right now getting into the shoes of being a leader or running entrepreneurship, what advice would you give someone?
Okay. So as a leadership, like leader basically will lead the team. It will not
Right.
boss the team. So basically it is something like he need to be with the team members. He need to be maybe with the group members, or I would say the maybe the project team. So whosoever maybe the members of that particular team, he need to lead them, guide them, and I would say mentor them, motivate them. So the first and foremost, I would say the quality that one should have is the communication,
True.
because communication skill is really, really able to speak up, and like it presents yours, what exactly the mindset, what exactly the thought process, what exactly the business requirement, what exactly the company is looking forward for, and what is that we need to go forward for. So the
True.
company communication is one of the most important criteria that we should have, very, very open with my all my, I would say, my team members or everyone. Similarly, interpersonal skill. So people generally talk about, I would say, social networking, or I would say talking in the social media, or maybe in gatherings or somewhere. So how that particular person represents, or what kind of a thought process it brings in, or what kind of a discussion point that he, I would say, have it, a healthy discussion that he is having it. So that interpersonal skills will really matters a lot.
True.
The third point that I can say is something like an organization skill. So basically, how one individual is organized, how systematic he is, how well documentation or how well process that he follows, or I would say how
True.
the compliance that is followed. So basically, organization skill in terms of each individual one. So like how well organized is that person. Life is throwing a challenge every now and then. So like problem solving skill, that is one of the most important aspect of it. So like be it in family front, be it in a corporate front, or be it wherever, how how you keep yourself calm to address that particular situation, to assess that particular situation, and based on that, what best that you can think about the solution, or I would say workaround for that particular. So see, may not be every time a solution, but maybe the workaround, or maybe a stopgap rather than something. So that problem solving skill ability that is required. The one more point I can say, it's like a adaptability. A person have to be very, very dynamic in the situation. See, because in recent times in COVID, people have real, I would say the life have taught everyone, like
True.
we have to adapt the changes, adapt the things immediately. We have to be very, very dynamic in that particular terms. We can't say like this is not doable, or this I can't accept it, or I can't do it. So that is what's important thing. One more important point I would say, like integrity, because people trust you. The based on, I would say, the trust, honesty that you build, the integrity is very, very important part of it. That will drives many factors. So
Right.
somewhere, if I trust my people, this is the particular work needs to be done. I know he's capable enough. He's I would say, single only, I would say, he's capable of doing anything, and that kind of a thing. That kind of a trust that is built. So that kind of an integrity that is required. And the leadership, as I mentioned, he has to be, I would say, mentoring the team. I would leading the team, not the bossing that particular thing. So
True.
nowadays
True.
leaders are required, and like you as I explained, the two gentlemen that I spoke about, they are true leaders. They are
True.
true leaders.
Absolutely. I like how your question talk speaks about what advice, and you have given advice on both front, from being a team member and of course being from a leader's point of view. And that talks about how you understand what is in the other's plate as well, and then take it forward. And that's the kind of person you are. Uh, I have this next question. We talk about the friendly ear. We all have a friendly ear that can probably put our knees down and listen to, or somebody can listen you're talking about, and one is listening to you. So, who is your friendly ear in professional career?
Okay. In professional career, I can say like sometimes like my past bosses,
Okay,
it's many a time, because like see, they are very, very senior in their particular, I would say, their
true.
areas, or I would say expertise, I can say, because when I talk about corporate or the professional life, in a specific area that I'm talking about. So my ex bosses, I can consider them as an, I would say, my secret
And and
years for
and,
that.
and if it's gonna be personal, then who is your friendly ear?
My daughter, as I mentioned,
Yeah,
she says the
I was
same.
trying to get more out of you, but okay.
No,
So after the
no.
next question,
Uh,
which is talks about life in general.
mhm.
What does life in general mean to you?
Okay. For me, life is basically how people looked at it. So for me, the satisfaction. the sense of accomplishment, not to compare yourself with anyone. Rules of karma: do good, leave it rest to the Almighty.
True.
You are not the controller of your life. You
Right.
can you are given a role for to perform, and you have to perform at your best that you can do, and like without hurting anyone. So
Right.
it's basically it's basic. I would say execute in a best possible way that you can. So that is what I life to me.
So wonderful. I like how you mentioned the word karma. And it's rightly said, karma people think is a bad thing, but karma is a beautiful thing.
I really believe that. I really believe that.
It's about you do good, and it's not like you expect it to come your way, but let the energies, let the aura around you do the rest. And so you do you meditate? Do you do anything of meditation? Because as you speak about it, your answer from what life means looks
Mhm.
like yes, you are a spiritual person as well. So do you have a spiritual hand as well?
Special hand in terms of what?
Like, do you have a spiritual hand? Like,
Okay.
meditate?
Okay.
Do you chant? Do you
Okay. Okay.
pray?
So like every morning, I do 1 hour puja that I generally do, like my puja, jap, mantra that I used to speak. And I love, see, because one thing that best thing I can say, like whatever our Rishi Munis or I would say yogis that have created the mantras or chant, it's so much powerful, so
Oh,
much powerful. And I try to learn that. I try to recite and recite them so that I should be able to, instead of reading it, I should be able to speak out what
so
exactly,
wonderful.
because that words, that throw, that really creates that kind of a power or aura, or I would say kind of an energy.
Energy.
So that is what really important. So every day, every morning, yes, I do that. That is what my meditation you can see.
Yes, yes. So chanting is meditation.
Right,
Moving around is meditation. Listening to music is meditation.
right.
It's just the name is different. And chanting, as you said rightly, the amount of energies you throw it, and so energies get dissolved with the Panchabhuta energy around you, and it comes back to you, is very, very powerful.
Very, very
So
powerful,
I'm so
powerful.
happy, we are having this discussion on cutting chai, and that is an added point that we did not know about you, and we have kind of revealed about you at the cutting chai story. You have
I
something to say.
I want to add something. I like that because there is nothing on IT front right now. It's something on a different life front. Really good.
And I love it more because I have the chance to go
Uh-huh.
back and to go into people's life, have a little sneak peek into the life. And there's so much more about everybody's life. That's what,
Mhm.
as I said earlier when I introduced
Mhm.
the show, that people have so much of life, and every life has got something to inspire, something to
Something to
motivate
inspire.
everyone.
Correct,
And looking
correct.
at you, listening to you, it's only making me much better and feel better.
Thank you,
But
thank you.
I have two more questions before I go to the
Yeah,
next rapid fire round. This
right.
question is about you.
Mhm.
If somebody asks you,
Mhm.
who is Jitendra Panchal? And if you had to be that someone else and not you,
Okay.
how would you describe yourself?
No, I'll prefer to be myself. Whatever I am, yes, I am. That is very clear. See, the thing is that people, uh, I would say, like one of the assessment that we carried out, like one of the CIO event, or I would say one of the CIO group, the assessment was there. Okay, like I need to share the set of questionnaire to my, I would say, peers or to my
Okay.
bosses or to my subordinates, and get the assessment done. Okay, like who am I? What is my role? What exactly my character is? So the kind of, and I would say the words that I gathered, it's a single word description that each one have to give. So that the word that I've gathered, so it's like a humble, polite, trustworthy, emotional full. That is one of the statement that I got, emotional full, because yes, I am emotional. And uh, tech savvy, adoption, and it's a dynamic person. Dynamic in the sense like in the sense whenever he changes his, I would say, language or tone or mindset or body language totally different. So it's a very dynamic
So
personality. That's what mentioned, and
it's
that is what
so
even that is what given by my seniors, not by my subordinates. So by my seniors,
that is so well
right?
described you. The 5 words describe you, and being emotional is the most beautiful thing one can be. And I should give you 100 on 100 for that. If you're emotional, you can convey the world with your emotions. And there's nothing more than holding back the emotion. All right, let's get into rapid fire. I have this very interesting question. Rapid fire.
Right.
What does this word mean to you when you listen to these words? Okay, rapid fire.
Okay. Okay.
Family,
Family is, I would say, unity,
work.
togetherness. Huh?
One word, one word, one word.
Okay. Okay.
Work,
Work to give it back to the society.
childhood,
Fun.
Mumbai.
living living life.
Holidays. Holidays.
I don't get chance, but yes, relaxation, relaxation. Because we are from IT, we don't get a chance.
Yes. Daughter.
My life,
Love.
no words, we can't express.
Parents.
They are my angel guide.
Cutting chai.
I love that.
So
I'm missing that. I'm
just
missing
as a
that.
wrap up, we all have this one particular song or music that we always have in our mind. When you're alone, when you are feeling a little anxious, or when you are traveling and very happy, very joyful, there's one song you hum. So,
Okay.
which is your go-to song that is always with you, and people resonate themselves that what, when it comes to Jitendra, this song is the perfect song.
Okay. It is one very beautiful song by Shan. Tanha Dil Tanha Safar.
So, how about now that you've started the script of this? I think two lines has to come from you. So,
I'm bad singer. I'm bad singer.
we are very bad listeners, sir. So you can go for it. It's okay. You can go for it.
Okay. I don't know the full, I would say lyrics, but yes. Tanha dil, tanha safar, dhunde mujhe, fir ek nazar, tanha dil, tanha safar. That's it.
So wonderful, so wonderful. As I wrap up the entire session, let me just quickly talk about who he is actually. If you listen to him from the start to now, he is a seeker, he is humble, he's down to earth, he's a lover, he's emotional, he's got a spiritual start to the day that makes him intact to what the power of days gives him. Just not that, he loves his family, loves his daughter, loves his work, less of holidays, but I'm sure he'll find time for that. Because he said that, I'm just going to quickly wrap this up in a different way. कि आज योगा किया तो अखबार छोड़ दिया, जो अखबार पढ़ा तो योगा छूट गया, जो दोनों किए तो नाश्ता छूट गया. यानी कि जीवन में कुछ ना कुछ छूटना तो लाजमी है.
Yes.
जो प्यार किया तो शादी छूट गई, जो शादी की तो प्यार छूट गया, जब दोनों किए तो वफा छूट गई. यानी कि जीवन में कुछ ना कुछ छूटना तो लाजमी है. जल्दबाजी की तो बैग छूट गई, जल्दबाजी ना की तो ट्रेन छूट गई, जो दोनों किए तो विदाई के वक्त अपने परिवार वालों को गले मिलना छूट गया. यानी कि जीवन में कुछ ना कुछ छूटना लाजमी है.
Absolutely.
पर इस लाजमी को ना लाजमी बनाते हैं इंसान. And one such example was Mr. Jitendra Panchal. Thank you so much for joining us here at Academic Story, brought to you by ADH and Economic Times. My name is Mithun Upadhyay. It was delightful. I would love to meet you in the olden days of Bombay, sit with you with a chai in our hand, and talk about the evolution of Bombay from town to suburbs and now for the suburbs.